Hey everybody, Lisa here. I'm not going to go through the Dreamtime spiel right now. This is really a plea for help. There's two of us who need help, actually. Um, I my identity has been stolen. This is a verified fact, and I can kind of blame myself for it because I didn't realize when you get those data breach notices that you're supposed to. They say on there, but if it's data breach, who would steal my identity? Evidently, my identity's been stolen. I called Equifax and all those people, and then I got a phone call. Somebody was trying to borrow $40,000 in my name, and it wasn't me. Um, I can't use my emails, and my phone doesn't always work. Okay, like as if what do they call it? Gemini will get on and they'll just record me, and it won't let me attend to any of the functions on my phone. So my phone is literally being utilized by somebody else. My emails, I had a Regina Bastioni because I thought it'd be fun to do in the throne room for Regina Bastioni. Somebody actually stole that email account. It was like last year, and I had to recover the account. Well, when you get on Google, you can't change your email stuff. There's no person to talk to, okay? And if I get on a website, so the website is like hacked. So I could click what the browser says, but it'll take me to a page that isn't the page that is the page I'm supposed to be on. If that makes any sense to anybody. I'm really like at a point. So I call up the three Equifax, all that stuff, and then I call my bank service. I pay for a service where I can be monitored in my bank, right? So I get on today instead of doing it online because everything's online, right? But if I click online, I'm afraid of giving my information away because it's going to go to an alternate space. I've wasted so much money with that I can't get back. Okay, so I call, and then they ask me questions. So, and then no, I don't know the answers to these questions because somebody else has given them identity questions. So now I have to go face to face, Social Security, the police department, and stuff like that. I just want to say to anybody out there doing this, and I asked Michael, should I turn off the channel? He said, absolutely not. That's what some of this fighting is about. They don't want to hear you say what you have to say. And then there's also people who don't want to acknowledge the fact that I'm a psychic medium. Now, I do go to church, but this is here. I came out of witchcraft from the neighborhood in Shawnee, where I was being gaslit and my husband was involved, and he's a warlock. I painted that, and that's for. I know people watch me who hate me and do witchcraft shit, and that's hopefully helps protect me. But I know I'm protected by the Archangel Michael. I pray to Jesus and God, and they protect me too. Okay? So there's the basic story. I'm using social media to reach out. I know that there was an illegal Mexican woman my husband met in Montana when we lived here the first time. And she stole my identity. There's also a woman in the UK who stole my identity. And there's also a woman in Canada, a lady in Texas, and maybe my sister and her daughter, and maybe my cousin. I don't know. There's a lot. They say there's 7 people with my identity. And some of you out there have actually given money thinking it was me to somebody. Maybe they put the blue wig on. I put the blue wig on because this happened whilst I was living with my second ex. And I'm not really sure what this is, but the hair is slowly growing back. It looks kind of crazy. It's I'm not going to even venture a guess of what really happened to me. I've been told. I don't want to believe it. Now, I quantumly entangle with Benedict Cumberbatch, and he wants me to mention this because the same fucking thing is happening to him in his life where the wife, they have a divorce. The wife doesn't want to admit to the world that he's divorcing her. I don't know what I have to do with it, but I've never met the Benedict Cumberbatch, okay? I did come out when on Mystic Traveler 3411 and say he had spelled himself in Doctor Strange second. Okay, and I think that helped a lot of people. That's how I know a lot of people watch my channel. Okay, because I've helped alleviate people being spelled by witchcraft. Witchcraft is very real. And then when you add witchcraft with energy weapons, and they do it. I just listened to Alternative Homesteading on Valentine's night. I got on the chat with them, and I'm always afraid to chat because I know I'm targeted and other people following me around, and then they'll target them. Okay, but this is a whole group of targeted people who have information, and they know there's witchcraft with energy weapons. I mean, look, people, I'm bruised, and I haven't done anything to myself, okay? They're keeping me from getting a job. I have limited funds. My sister likes to say I was irresponsible with the money, but I never got any money from her. My husband's did, and they were irresponsible. I never received a fucking dime, okay? And I'm down to it, and they're trying to kill me. And you can get aneurysms and heart attacks and all of a sudden drop dead from witchcraft and energy weapons, the combination. I know there's a lot of good people out you praying for me. There's American Indians praying for me. Please, thank you. There's Indian in India praying for me. There's people who believe in Jesus, like Jesus, and thank you so much. And then there's regular people who believe in regular stuff. Thank you, and thank you. Please, I really would like to get to the other end of this. Now, part of it is being quantumly entangled. Part of it is telling you about the stuff I know. And part of it is that I have siblings who garnered my inheritance, which is in my name. Okay? And I haven't seen a dime of it. I knew there was an inheritance, but I didn't know what the amount was and how amazing it was. And they're paying for people to repress me. Okay, it sounds crazy. Now, do you really want me to bring this up about Ben? Ben asked me to bring this up because they're trying to tell Ben he's crazy. He's telling people there's a clone of him. His wife doesn't want anyone to know that he divorced her, like it'll embarrass her, okay? And she, along with some scientist people, and they have a whole lab in Colorado and who else knows where else, and they do things to people there. I'm not going to say that part. Here's what I want you to look at. If you look at Ben in Sherlock, okay, and then you look at that Sugar guy, Henry Sugar is what they call it, I want you to look at it really well, okay? And Ben, quantumly entangled Ben, told me to do this because he was in danger, and then I reached out to another quantum entangled friend that's his friend that lives where he lives and saved his fucking life. Anyway, here's the differences. Ben Cumberbatch wants you to know that because they're trying to drive him crazy the same fucking way they're driving me crazy. If you look at Henry Sugar, right? First of all, just so you know, Ben made that suit and it fits that guy a little funny. Know that to be true. Ben's eyes are not that blue. Okay? Ben's got teal eyes with little specks of brown and yellow in them. Now, the reason why Ben reached out to me is because he actually met Max Ginsberg, who was a painting teacher of mine, and he told Ben, Lisa's very observant. I am. And I think he's the cutest thing in the world, okay? So, like, I look. And there was something wrong with the Henry Sugar guy, the way he moves and all that stuff. But if you look at Ben, the eyes are fucking way too blue. The bridge of the nose is wider. The Ben in Henry Sugar, his upper lip comes out. And our Ben, his jaw juts out a little bit. So the Henry Sugar guy is what I call, he's got a muzzle. But here's the dead giveaway. Here's the dead fucking giveaway. The back of the neck. And I love Ben's neck. He laughs at me for that. But our Ben, the real Ben, has one hairline down the back of his neck And fake Ben has 2 hairlines down. And I call him Cro-Magnon. He's Cro-Magnon, 2 hairlines. So those are the differences. And then the only time the real Benedict shows up in that particular Henry Sugar, where the gambling and all that, and he's got that blue suit on, is when Ben shows up and he's skinny and somewhat emaciated and hair is crazy. That's real Ben. They stick him in there. And so Ben's been putting up with abuse. God, I'm stating this on TV based on a quantum entangled relationship. And Jesus, Ben, I hope I haven't overstepped my bounds. That's all I got to say. He wants the world to know, because they're trying to play him. Oh, there's no other Ben, blah, 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 blah. And then they do things to him. They're doing physical, horrible shit to him because she'd like to get rid of him because pentacles come with him. That they want the pentacles of his. They want my pentacles, and they're trying to make me drop dead so nobody has to change anything. And the money can go to... It would go to my children, you stupid fools. Not to Mary's children. Not to the false leases. And I've been trying to come out here. The anacronyms have been watching over me since I was like 4.5 years old, that my mother took me to have, and my IQ is like 122 or 124. They watch Geniuses. It's just Fran never told you fools. And then in college, we rode away in the 1970s to China, right? At that time, China was still, China. We get put on lists for things and watched. I don't know why this court case is taking so long, but 2 of us are really suffering. I can't use my emails. Things disappear. I'm looking for a job. I need that income. The reason why I need that income is because, A, I took early retirement. I wanted to be an artist because my kids were grown. And I never thought I'd be without a husband. B, my son Scott, he's all had autism. I stopped working for almost 17 fucking years. And I don't regret it, because he's a successful human being in the world. And the other part of that is, I realized through my son that I'm on the spectrum. I'm on the autism spectrum. And then add into that being a psychic medium, of course you come off as crazy. But what I want to know is, if my sister's fighting over this money, why hasn't anybody spoken to me? But here's the other thing. If somebody comes up to you and tells you, I'm a porn star, I'm not. I never received the money for porn. I have 2 ex-husbands who did revenge porn on me. And then there's a whole bunch of people who came into my home while I lived in Shawnee for 10 years, put CCTV cameras where I didn't know they were, and then I was on the dark web. I thought I was just having sex with my husband. Aren't you supposed to have sex with your husband? I enjoy sex, and I enjoyed sex with Greg. And I don't know if he human trafficked me and it went further than that. But I think some sketchy stuff was done to me under the guise of witchcraft and worlockery. And now, every single phone, I can't work. Okay? I worked for Hallmark Cards. And, maybe they'll be embarrassed by me saying that. I hope not. I was through a lot of heinous situations with both my husbands. And I tried to be normal, but it's hard. It's hard when you're going through emotional abuse. And then neither one of them, they both had other women. And I didn't find that out with the second till many, many years later. But I stuck through with actually I kind of knew something was up, but I stuck with it because I waited for my son to be okay without his mom. And I'm hoping he is. I hope he is. I pray and I try to spiritually guard him all the time. Anyway, this is like the 3rd time I made this video. I'm seriously repressed. Not all my emails go through. If you try to reach out to me and you know my phone numbers, I might not ever receive your phone call. This one number, the T-Mobile's been so unhelpful. And to Donald Trump or anybody who's listening out there, I'm totally down for ICE with you. And please, people, don't get mad at me, but my identity has been stolen by an illegal Mexican, and then there's people from other countries who have my identity. I think there's a whole scam going on where people in their, once you reach 65 or whatever, people try to steal identities of older people. And maybe there's a group of people trying to take out older people with energy weapons, the people who they didn't get with COVID. I mean, that's a theorem. I'm allowed to have theorems. But anyway, I think there's a scam on older people in America today being abused. And if your skin is a little bit dark and you're somewhat indigenous, it's even worse for us. And for military people, a lot of military people have been through egregious situations, and then they their memories might have been repressed. There's all sorts of things they can do with energy weapons, and then they disenfranchise these people. Okay? And I said in my earlier video, if I do ever acquire an enormous amount of money, I will help disenfranchise people, veterans and not veterans, because people have to start helping each other, or we're fucked. We're fucked as a planet. We're fucked as a race. And then this whole division of race, whole division of religion. No, there's only one God, people. There's only one God. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Ben has reached out to me and gave me his permission to use his name. So there it is. I hope he comes out of his situation as well as me coming out of mine. If you're a prayer warrior, thank you. I'm very tired. I've been fighting a heinous battle. And it says heinous. My daughter, don't say heinous, Mom. I say it the way I say it. My kids are they've been affected by this. They just don't know how much yet. And I can't wait for the court trial to come out because they're involved. Unfortunately. Anyway, if you're a praying person, please pray for me. I have no communication services. I need a job. I can't get one. I'd like to have a remote job. I had to quit my bakery job because I do have issues with my body, but I work out, and I know a lot of you have watched me. Okay, you remote view me, and you had CCTV cameras everywhere, and so I can move. I go to the production bakery job, and all of a sudden I can't move. They're attacking me. So I had to quit that job because I'm not going to hurt myself. I can't do if they're constantly shooting a weapon at me and I can't move my arm, and it's pinching nerves and necks and doing whatever they do. I mean, after all, they did this. I don't know if you can see it that well, but my arm is seriously bruised. And I haven't banged that. And that stuff shows up on my abdomen, my belly, because they're attacking my sacral space. And when I come out here and talk about it, it's not a joke. This is real, people. I talk to another whole channel of people who are going through the same thing. And the girl, when I had to buy yet another phone, which they're kind of getting into it, an Apple phone, and she said, "Ma'am, you don't know how many people I have talked to who has told me this exact story." So, and that's Walmart, okay? That's in a Walmart. She was a very lovely person, younger person, and she said, "Ma'am, if you're being hacked, that meant you please pay attention around you. They might be following you too." Which now I have to wonder, do they really want me dead that bad? I go out there and I say, hey, I'm not dead yet, and some of you people out there might be weak enough to be killed with an aneurysm or a heart attack. I told him, hey, you're going to have to show up with Uzis, man, because I think that's the only way you're taking me down. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I love most of you, really good. You evil people, I hope you go to jail. And if you're a prayer warrior, please pray for me. I need help. And any acronyms or police department people, I'm going to come and reach out and talk to people today, tomorrow, so you could see me face to face. And I don't have dementia, because this is where they're going with this. My sister likes to say I'm irresponsible with money. I think I've been very responsible with the very little bit of money I've ever had, because I've made all my money for myself. And how dare you keep my inheritance from me? I want my money, people. And if I find out my father wasn't my biological father, stay away from me, okay? Just stay the F away from me, unless you're going to apologize. But I want my money. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Be well, people. And I hope this doesn't ever happen to you. Bye now.